Here's a story from CNN. And, I chose CNN on purpose because they're also in the gutter. But this should be fun. Comcast to spin off its cable channels, including MSNBC and CNBC, into separate company. So it's now confirmed. The rumors that have been bubbling up, they trickled this one out. At first, they were like, the ratings are really bad following the, what do we have here? Is this, do we have that one over there? No. The ratings got really, really bad. And so MSNBC's weekend ratings were like in the 20,000s in the key demo. It's a worthless channel. This is likely why Joe and Micah went to go meet with Donald Trump and beg, because they're talking to no one. But now CNN confirms it. Now, CNN, of course, wants to play defensive for them. They say Comcast is planning to spin off most of its cable television networks, including MSNBC and CNBC, in a separate publicly traded company, according to executives with knowledge of the plan. The spinoff is expected to be formally announced Wednesday. The Wall Street Journal, which first reported the impending announcement on Tuesday evening, said this involved USA, Oxygen, E, Sci-Fi, and the Golf Channel. Comcast's NBC Universal division is keeping Bravo, the NBC broadcast network. The separate cable channels will have the same sort of ownership structure. They say while observers may view the spinoff as an attempt to shed cable channels that are losing value in the streaming age, the channels still contribute strong profits to Comcast's bottom line. I'm going to pause there. See, this is the game they play. This is why I wanted to use CNN. Strong profits because of carriage fees, meaning that if your channel is on a cable network that's being carried, you get a piece of all of the subscriptions for everybody who has cable. So that's guaranteed revenue over a certain period of time. The reality is the channels themselves, nobody watches. CNN, look at this this is right here. New York Post. Leftist viewers deal MSNBC and CNN a Trump slump ratings crash. And they try to go on to explain why, but regardless, they say, at MSNBC, the home of the most unhinged commentary and analysis we've ever seen in the history of television, and that's saying something, more than half its audience, 53%, is no longer tuning in compared to October. They're going to mention that Rachel Maddow dropped off 1 million viewers. They don't mention her key demo ratings, however. They say in the key demographic, the advertisers most covet, Maddow's numbers marked the smallest audience her show has seen since April 2022. It's a new era, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened? Well,
this is the question we've been asking since the election. Is this that regular people have woken up to the extent they're being lied to?
I think so. I think that it was like they were part of what felt like a movement to get Kamala Harris or whoever the Democratic Party fed them elected. And then when that thing failed, they all were like, all right, the shakedown is, the gig's up. We all knew it was fake anyway. We were just trying because we felt like we were supposed to. I'm out. I'm done with this crap. I think that's what a lot of those people were feeling.
Let me add this for context. This is from the Post-Millennial. John Stewart says presidential election was a repudiation of liberal government he spent years propping up. An overly regulated system that is no longer responsive or delivering for the needs of the people. So you got Charlemagne the God coming out, changing his tune, saying maybe the Democrats lied to me about Trump being a fascist. You got Joe and Micah trying to meet with Donald Trump. You got Bill Maher coming out and saying, oh, these Democrats, oh boy, I can't stand them. All of these liberal personalities begging to be let into the fold, and the ratings of these channels collapsing. I'd be willing to bet Jon Stewart's ratings are in the gutter. You know, he resurrected his Daily Show to come back for this election cycle.
Yep.
I bet his ratings are gutter trash, and he knows it. CNN's are in the gutter. New York Post confirms. We've seen all that data. MSNBC's in the gutter. Meanwhile, Fox News is up. Conservatives are up. And once again, we'll shine a light over on our good friend David Pakman, who put out a video after the election saying he was losing subscribers like crazy, as were many of these other liberal personalities. This is the culture shift.
Yeah, I think that the people that have been vehemently anti-Donald Trump and anti-right, saying that the right is full of all these bad people and all of this just negative opinion about anyone on the right, I think that they realized, because of not just because of the election of Donald Trump, but the fact that everything in the country had a right lean this election. So the House was taken, the Senate was taken. If you look at all of the districts and all of the people all of the elections that went on, everything swung to the right. And I think that even if they're not like, oh, we're going to be right wing now, we're going to start, just saying, supply side economics are good and family values are important. Even if they're not going to do that, they realize that they can't just continue to call the right racist, bigots, you're terrible people, you're all Trumpers, Trump's a Nazi, etc. I think that they see the writing on the wall. And if you want to survive, especially in legacy media where the writing is on the wall, that podcasts are where it's at today, that alternative media, that the internet, that's where it's at. It's no longer on cable news. If you don't adapt, then you're going to be left behind. And we're seeing it with what's going on at NBC, with MSNBC, and even CNBC. Like, typically it's not really strongly left-leaning because it's all business, right? There are people that are going to have left-leaning opinions, but you're not going to have people that are just like, oh, we got to get rid of private property and we have to tax, it's a good thing to tax unrealized gains and stuff like that, because that just isn't going to fly on a business channel. Even there, seeing the effects from NBC. So I think that it's probably writing's probably on the wall.
Are we having fun watching these personalities grovel, basically?
Of course we are.
I kind of
yes.
No, Ian's gonna say no.
Well, it's not really fun, but it's definitely it feels good because it's like if you ever know a bully and what they do is a scare tactic. They'll flash something on the wall and everyone will freak out, and then they do it again and again and again because they feel powerful when they get that reaction. But then eventually people are like, they're doing that same thing now, and it's annoying now. It's not even scary. It's just bright, and it's annoying. Stop doing
what?
A bully that's using a scare tactic to get everyone's a reaction, and they're feeling good at controlling the people's reactions. Eventually, that scare tactic becomes obvious, a scare tactic. You're like, I know he's just flashing a light on the wall. I'm ready for it now, and now it's just becoming annoying.
And you're saying the left is
that's what they're screaming about.
That's what the
Trump
corporate press has
bad.
been doing.
Right. Yeah,
okay.
And it is just nice to see the bully exposed.
It's It's like the boy who cried wolf, I guess. It's the Democrat who cried Hitler. Eventually, you're just like, we get it. Jeez, there's like 7 Hitlers, whatever.
Well, let's zoom out really fast. Let's speak of the apparatus of the platform that is media. And when you launch a platform, you have to decide who you're going to speak to and what your goals are. Okay, so either it is to get viewership and get money, or it is to push an agenda, or maybe a combination of both. And it seemed like mainstream media, especially leftist mainstream media, didn't want viewers. They weren't thinking about the dollars. They were trying to use their platform to push an agenda. We saw that during the Trump years. We saw that before Trump got elected in 2016. And that, to me, let's go backwards really fast. What do people want from media? What people want from media is, number one, information without bias and the truth. And the media has failed at both of those because all we've gotten was bias. So let's say you're going to have a platform, you're going to talk to people like Tim Pool. Tim Pool, he talks to everybody. He talks to the left, he talks to the center, he talks to the right. Mainstream media has done a good job of just platforming certain people on the left. We see it with black media. Black media is out there and they don't talk to Hotep Jesus. Tim Pool, I have a Hotep Jesus on. So what we're seeing is a complete bias, and people are like, well, we're not getting the full picture here. Then you have the election and you see the popular vote and you go, oh, the people have spoken with their votes, et cetera, right? But that's the issue. People have lost their trust in media. Media is not giving information, and it's been completely biased. But it comes back to the fact that media was not trying to make money. They were not trying to have viewers. They were specifically trying to push an agenda, orange man bad.
And I must say this, but Bill Maher on his show, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, forgive me, he called the Democrats retarded. Oof, that hurt to say. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm sorry, YouTube, viewers at home. But he said those words. Yep.
Leave it to Bill
Maher.
He
He said Democrats were like a royal family that had become incestuous and had retarded children.
Wow, yeah.
And he's like,
that's for sure.
And you know what? The essence of what he's saying, that Democrat ideas have become a hodgepodge of insanity, we've been saying for years. So thanks, Bill, for coming out after the election, when before he was like, Trump can't win, Kamala's going to win the popular vote. And now all of a sudden he's calling Democrats retarded. Oh, come on, dude.
Yeah.
You could have said that before the election.
The culmination of believing their own refuse or whatever is when they said, Trump is a threat to democracy. Our candidate has been installed without a Democratic primary by our super delegate, whatever, imperial strategy. was like, okay, this is great, because I was actually talking with my mother, who's very much like, hey, she was of the ilk of like, Trump's a jerk, mean tweets, don't want to vote for the jerk. But I was like, I'm not going to vote for. First of all, they're saying that he's a threat to democracy while they install a candidate and become a very big threat to democracy. Accuse your opponent of what you're doing, which was a Nazi tactic. Not only are they doing that, but they're not only are they blaming them, but they're doing it. And so, and she's now just fully on board, fully understands the manipulation of that sect, that weird minority in the American population.
Just look at these moral cowards, okay? Because I'll give credit to every single Trump supporter and every single post-liberal or disaffected liberal who had no problem saying after Joe Biden won the election, I'm not on board with there were servers and Dominion and all that conspiracy stuff. That felt like a big cope. I certainly don't think it was. Let's just say the bellwethers were off. There's a lot of questions about the 2020 election I'm fine with. But I do think Democrats largely just ballot harvested and changed the rules in order to win. After that happened, I didn't say, I supported Joe Biden the whole time. I mean, Democratic Party is what it's always been. I was like, Trump is still right. Joe Biden is terrible. He's a warmonger. And I have no problem saying that, even if we're losing. But look at these people. We come around and we win the popular vote. We advocate for Trump the entire time. We have a primary process with strong candidates. We're fans of Vivek. Initially, we were fans of DeSantis, but his campaign went weird. And no one liked Nikki Haley. But it was a fierce primary. Trump ends up winning, and we say, okay, we're going to get behind the candidate. Then, after Donald Trump wins, the other liberals all of a sudden now have found Donald Trump. They have found the absurdity of Democrats. They are moral cowards. And I say this. We want their audiences, and we want them giving us their whatever power or support they can. But we always must remember that these people are not to be trusted. Jon Stewart, Bill Maher, Micah, and Joe, they'll sell you out in 2 seconds when the wind changes. But for the time being, if they're going to sing the praises, it's yes, you can go on one knee now like you had all these athletes do and accept that we were right the whole time. And we're going to keep going. But regardless.
And there's another segment.
Their viewership's gone.
There's another segment that changed their mind before the results of the election, like Michael Rappaport.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
So
what happened there? Are we trusting him?
I do. I think he legitimately saw the light and was like, whoa.
Yeah, the light of attacks on Israel from the left in the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, you think he turned against that?
as
opposed
absolutely.
to towards.
You look, for someone like Michael Rappaport, and there's a lot of people like him who are Democrats who hated Trump, you could literally have evidence of Trump being falsely framed and prosecuted, and they're going to be like, don't care, Donald Trump is bad. And then the moment some leftist comes out and burns an Israeli flag, they're like, I'm a Republican now.
All right, well, then I don't trust that.
I don't trust them for 2 seconds.
I don't trust reactionaries in general. I don't like people that are like, emotional, I'm now away from emotions. No. I like the people that are honest and look for truth and stick with that.
If like Rappaport, if he was sincere, and I did not realize how crazy the left was, and it took him, this was what woke him up, I'd say, okay. But he backtracked on Trump. He came out and said, Trump is on the table. Look what's going on with these protests. Then backtracked on Trump. And now apparently I think he's for Trump again. I don't trust that.
As opposed to someone like Anna Kasparian, who legitimately now sees the danger of what was happening. And I don't know what she feels about Donald Trump, but she seems like full on, like she cares about truth. It always has.
Anna Kasparian's perspective was shaped by multiple actual events. So there was the fact that she was sexually assaulted by a homeless person outside of her house. She said, I'm not a birthing person, and she received all kinds of online hate from people on the left, calling her all the terrible names that you get called. She looked into she for a long time believed the narrative about Kyle Rittenhouse, and then she finally went and looked into it and watched the videos, and she was like, oh my God, I'm wrong. This is like, he was actually defending himself, and it's clear. And she's taken Cenk to task on a lot of that stuff.
You know what a big component of Anna was? She said that after she got assaulted by this homeless guy, leftists started making fake videos of her statements out of context to accuse her of things she hadn't done or said. And she was like, this is crazy. And I'm like, welcome to the club, Anna. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.